95% of you watching this video are never gonna release your game. I just kind of made that up, but stick around to the end of this video because maybe, just maybe, you'll learn what I didn't know about making indie games and you won't quit your project. And by the way, this video is inspired by Mark Brown's video. In fact, I was so inspired, I stole his title entirely. Thanks, Mark. Okay, so first thing is you're going to hate your game. After making games for 15 years, I've essentially learned that this is a law. It's called Brush's Law of Hate Your Game Dynamics. And that's why I've made a lot of tools to make things so much easier for you so you can hate your game a little bit less. Like my free 2D game kit and my free 3D course. Both are in the description, snag them, they're totally free, my treat, no gimmicks. And while you're down there, give that like button a little tickle. You're gonna hate your game because, well, how do I explain this? Imagine dating the hottest girl on the planet. And then one day, she farts. And then the next day, she tells you the earth is flat. Then the next day, she reveals she thinks deodorant is part of the patriarchy. Then the next day, she reveals she's actually bald.
Keep my wife's name out your
This is essentially your game. You're infatuated at first, but when you start building it out in Unity, you slowly learn it's a Frankenstein. I mean, my current game father stopped wearing deodorant about the second day I met her. I mean, him. So for example, just take a look at this folder structure. It's a maze. Finding my way around is basically like playing a Metroidvania. We've got a folder called Asset Dump. I mean, look at all these pre-made assets. We've got a decal shader that's been jerry-rigged to work for our game. Okay, wait, never mind, it doesn't work. A toilet, nice, just a toilet. Okay. Gun effects, blood and gore effects, another toilet. Wait, which one do I use? Here's a trick if you ever need to clean up your project. Just create a folder and name it Delete Me Soon, and then put all your files in there. It always works, every time. On top of the folder structure being a mess, your game's art will look beautiful, but behind the curtain, it's horrifying. So just get used to it. Don't panic, it's totally normal. And I know it seems like it's not that big of a deal, but I've quit entire projects because my project was a mess. Clean up your project, it's gonna take a couple days or maybe a week, and you'll be in love again. Kinda. Second, your tiny little game is going to take probably 30% longer than you think. I'd even go so far as to say if this is your first game, it's gonna take you twice as long. Just take it from Valve, who delayed Team Fortress 2 by 9 years.
Oh, that was
Or the team behind Gran Turismo 5, which was delayed by 5 years. Or even my own game, Pinstripe, which took 5 freaking years. So why does this happen? The first reason kinda has to do with chaos theory. Essentially, chaos theory in the context of making a game implies that little changes made to your project can result in massive changes over time. In the case of, let's say, a ladder in my game Father, it's not as simple as just allowing the player to move upwards while touching the ladder. I mean, you've got to think about what happens when the player jumps to the ladder. Should the player snap to the ladder's position? And where should that position be? What happens when the player gets to the top of the ladder? So how do we know when to let the player go? All of these tiny little variables have to be fine-tuned, and you gotta consider their relationship to other fine-tuned systems in your game. As the game expands, so does the opportunity to break the game. Every single time a new feature is added, it's gonna break the game. Now, a video game is essentially this hyper-minimalistic replication of our current world. So it's gonna require you to essentially play God to make that happen. And you're not God, are you? So you're just gonna make a broken world. This video is brought to you by Intelligent Design Academy. Prove to your heathen friends that Jesus the Christ created the entire world, all for the price of $3.16. The second reason is simple. You're going to grow insecure about your game the longer you work on it. So you're gonna start adding stupid features that nobody asked for. It's called feature creep, and it's the Satan of this world that you've created. He's always slithering around, telling everybody in your game that your garden is not good, and there needs to be more. There doesn't need to be more. Remember the price of your game. It's gonna be the price of maybe 1 or 2 Big Mac meals.
All beef patty, getting all kinds of protein. So you told him no pickle, right?
So keep it simple, stick to your GDD, and that's a game design document, and below is a really good one in the description. I highly recommend you fill it out while you're working on your game. Third, your indie game is not gonna sell itself. But Thomas, Minecraft. But Thomas, Undertale. But Thomas, Braid. Quiet. That's like telling your friends to play the lottery because Betty Sue down in Pickens won the lottery. All right. Now I get it, Minecraft wasn't just lucky. It was a great game. So was Braid, so was Undertale. But are you sure that your game is great? Most games are just okay. My games are just okay.
The plot itself is a rather compelling mystery, but certain aspects at the start don't hold up once you reach the conclusion.
So that's why we focus on marketing, to ensure our game sells when the features that we're so in love with just don't do the job.
You'll get a good cleaning today.
So here's what you should do right now. And I know this seems like not a big deal, but it's actually the most important thing you could do in terms of marketing your game and ultimately selling it. Start building your audience now. Start posting on social media. I don't care if it's a square that's just bouncing up and down in Unity. Post the video, post the screenshot or the GIF. Get the content out there. Your goal should be, let's say, 2,000 followers on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube by the time you launch your game. Now, what do you do with this following? Well, obviously, you can ask them to buy your game on these platforms when the game is available. But the problem is you don't really know how these algorithms on these social media platforms work. I mean, you could have them wishlist the game on Steam. That's cool, but you don't really have control over the email list. By the way, a wish list on Steam is essentially an email list. It's just Valve has control over it, not you. What I recommend is offering a free demo in exchange for somebody's email address. So just post great content and then let people know that the demo is available on your website. And then on your website is an opt-in form. And this is on top of getting wish lists on Steam. That way, by the time you launch your game, hopefully you have 10 to 20,000 email addresses that you can email whenever you want to let them know that your game is launching on sale, part of a bundle, or part of a Kickstarter campaign. As digital entrepreneur Jeff Walker says, an email list is a license to print money.
If you think about the way Hollywood rolls out a movie, or Apple rolls out a new iPhone, or the gaming industry rolls out the latest game, they don't just drop it onto the market, they turn their marketing into an event.
How can you create an event? How can you create buzz with your game immediately? Well, you can use an email list. Imagine being able to email thousands of fans who are waiting for your game. You're going to get conversions, you're going to make money. This is why an email list is a money printing machine. It's old school, but so is bread. And bread is delicious, especially toast with garlic butter dipped in spaghetti sauce. Man, I wish I had known these things when I started making indie games. It would have saved me so much trouble. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. Be sure to leave a like if it was, and be sure to download that game kit below. It's totally free, and wishlist my game father. Cheers.